Everybody, do me a favor, as this is a brand new channel, and hit that subscribe button below. It will help the YouTube algorithm to find me and share me with more people. Thanks everyone, and let's get going. All right guys, today in the inaugural episode of Stupid Sunday, we are going to talk about a fuck up, and a big one. This is probably one of the bigger ones that I have seen in Canadian politics in recent years. I specify Canadian politics. We'll get into that in another episode. But none other than the charismatic, young, and handsome Justin Trudeau has fucked up big time. Let me explain. Canada has been in the grips of a terrible knowledge that has been around for over 100 years, but is only now coming to light. That being the legacy of the residential schools for the Indigenous people of Canada, specifically the children of the Indigenous people of Canada. Children of any age were ripped from their homes, from their families, often in the dead of night, and taken to far off remote schools where they would be indoctrinated with English language, religion, culture, etc., and punished for using their own language, culture, religion, etc. They were being brainwashed into ideal citizens as children. They came into being approximately 1880, though they could have been around for much longer. They were designed by the Canadian government, and they were run by the churches. And the abuses were horrible. There was physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. These kids were really treated shitty. And on top of that, when these abuses led to deaths, these things were just pushed under the carpet, and literally these kids were being buried in mass graves, unmarked mass graves, which have recently come to light. Over 1,000 have been found so far. 1,000 kids in unmarked graves on Canadian soil. This is a big deal. This is something that the government now has no choice but to take seriously because it's out in the open, and they've started making the first steps. One of those steps was the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, which is now every year on September 30th. This is a national holiday. It's a federal holiday. However, it's not one that's going to be observed by the majority of people. Federal offices, post office, things like that will be closed, but everything else will be open as normal, or perhaps with reduced hours. But unfortunately, the majority of Canada does not consider it a big enough deal to actually have an official holiday where everybody closes, similar to New Year's or Christmas. Again, a religious holiday that everything closes for, but not this. But that's a different story. So this is a big deal. September 30th was a big deal. Another thing that just recently happened is there has been an election in Canada. So he has been very busy with COVID, with the election, with now the Indigenous people's rights, with the spy situation with China, the two Michaels, etc., etc. He's had a lot on his plate, especially with that election, which he called, but another story. So is it understandable that for a national holiday, when the federal offices are closed, that he might take his family for a couple days so that when the offices reopen, he can get right back into it and be gung-ho and up and at 'em? Well, that's, I think, what the thought process was, but I'm sorry, man, but you fucked up. You fucked up big time. Because here's what happened. A reporter caught you and your wife walking on the beach and got pictures of it. So the message that you gave on not just National Truth and Reconciliation Day. I get it that it's a national holiday, but this is the first one. This is something that your party and you campaigned about. So not only did you screw up by going to the beach and not being a part of that ceremony, or sorry, not ceremony, but event. It's not really celebrating anything, but that event to commemorate this new day. But you were on holiday at that time. Insult to injury. Now, had you actually been there, and as the Prime Minister of Canada, you have your own plane, okay? Ottawa has an airport. Tofino, I don't know if Tofino has an airport. Somewhere on the island has an airport. Kamloops also has an airport. You could have flown from Ottawa in the morning to Kamloops with your family and attended the event, which would have been political gold. This is a new culture of people that are not new Canadians, but that are newly coming forward and being allowed to be a part and being comfortable with being a part of Canada. Therefore, this is a new group of voters that possibly did not vote for you in the past, that had you made that little effort and went to that event, would have cemented you as a hero for those people. That's where you fucked up. Okay? You could have flown to Kamloops even for the day and then continued your journey to Tofino, or taken a day in Kamloops and then gone the next day to Tofino. You're the Prime Minister. You can do those kind of things. But by sending the message that your walk on the beach was more important than this event to the Indigenous people of your country, that's why you fucked up. See you next time.
Thank you for subscribing.